What happens when you have been a victim of childhood neglect? Neglect from caregivers that has contributed to the current pain you are experiencing as an adult. What role should you play? Especially if you have found yourself in a web of blaming where you cannot move forward because you consistently blame your caregivers for what happened to you and you don't know how else to move forward. Today, that's what I want to share on. I want to share with us on taking responsibility for our healing journey. My name is Joy Seki. I remain your recovery therapist and emotional wellness coach. I work with individuals virtually, globally, to experience mental well-being and healing. Some people that I've worked with have experienced childhood neglect. There is every reason to blame their caregivers for what they are going through at the moment, or in the moment that we started to work on their healing journey. For some of these persons, it was because of the neglect from their caregivers in terms of nurturing that was denied them, or maybe it was in the verbal abuses, the words, their caregivers constantly spoke to them about themselves, and now those words have become the voices in their head that is affecting them negatively, that is dictating how they see themselves and influencing the way they perceive themselves on a day-to-day basis. And these persons would always tell you that it was because my mom said I was ugly. That's why I find it difficult to believe that I'm beautiful. And indeed, their mother did tell them that they were ugly. Their mother did tell them that they were too dark-skinned. They were not as light as the other children, or that they were shorter, or that they were too thin. And indeed, some of them, their father did abuse them. Their uncles did abuse them. Their teachers spoke the wrong words to them. It's there. We do not deny that these things happened to various and billions of people on earth who are today adults that are carrying a lot of pain, heaviness in their hearts towards these caregivers that were supposed to care for them but ended up abusing them. When I sit with my clients, especially those with history of childhood neglect in whatever form, for some of them it was the fact that their parents weren't there. They were always at work, bringing in the money quite all right, but these children did not feel loved. Okay, despite all the gift and the present, those presents and gifts did not fill up the void the absence of this parent had created in the life of these children. And these adults grew up still looking for that adult presence and becoming very needy in their relationships. They are seeing the impact of what happened in their childhood, in their adult life, but they feel helpless and they are angry. Most of them are angry. There are so many people walking on the face of the earth today, angry with their caregivers, angry with their uncle, angry with their elder sisters, elder brother, angry with their parents, angry with their teachers. People are just angry. And to be honest with you, it is okay that they are angry. It is okay that they recognize that somebody did something wrong and that's why they are where they are. I'm not going to deny you that part. I'm not going to smooth talk you into believing that that was a lie. That would be me contributing to your pain, denying you your reality, what you went through. I wasn't there. This is the story you tell. This is the story you have told me. I wasn't there. This is your experience. You have every right to feel bad, to hurt. And I just want you to know that if you feel hurt about these things that happened to you, the fact that your mother didn't love you, the fact that your parents constantly compared you to your sibling, and that now made you feel lesser than every other person. It has affected your self-worth now as an adult. You are a 30-something years old adult and you are still fighting so hard to feel worthy. You have achieved a lot, but you always feel like you haven't achieved much still, because you keep comparing yourself to everybody else. And the more you compare yourself to somebody else, there's always somebody that is greater, that seems higher, that is prettier. And so you keep feeling that feeling of void. Okay, and you blame the fact that your parents did not let you be. They were always comparing you to your friends, to your family, and everybody else. This is your experience, and I do not in any way invalidate it. I do not invalidate your story. However, since you have been blaming your parents, since you have been blaming your caregivers, since you have been blaming everyone else that has contributed to who you are now, or how you are now, what you have become now, I just want to ask this simple question. Do you feel better? Are you healed? Do you feel free? I doubt it. Because if you feel better, if you're healed, you won't still be blaming. You would have taken out the lesson. You would have moved forward. Once you're still in that state of blaming, healing has not started. Healing has not come. Healing has not taken effect. You're still in that victimhood state. And when we're in a state of victimhood, we're in a survival state. When people are in a survival state, what happens? They are hypervigilant. They are not in their authentic state. They are not calm. They are not relaxed. They are not happy. They are not content. That means a lot of healing still needs to take place. I just want to tell you this. And this is not to exonerate the role anybody had played in whom you are now, in the emotional suffering that you are going through now. But I need to tell you the truth, because I'm here for your healing. And I need to tell you this truth. I know that the society encourages blaming of our parents, blaming of our caregivers, because we just want to blame somebody. But I just want you to know this. For as long as we've been blaming, there's nothing good that is coming out of it. Whoever did whatever to you, your parents, I want to focus on parental figures, because that's, most people that I've worked with, it's always there, that parental figure. Sometimes just things they did, and it wasn't intentional. I doubt that there are parents who want to intentionally hurt their children. What we need to recognize is the fact that our parents had parents that had parents that had parents. It's a journey of millions of years, ancestors. And this whole thing is a family line, a bloodline. Okay? And it's a pattern that has been passed from one to the other. And it keeps going on until somebody, which is you now, that is aware, decides to heal and break the pattern and learn better ways. And then you raise your children differently. That means you have broken the pattern. It's not in the blaming. When we blame, we continue. Whatever we don't heal from, we repeat. Okay? So you need to understand that it's likely your parents were victims too. I hope you get this. I'm not here to exonerate them. I'm not here to make you feel like, oh, what happened to you was nothing and all of that. No, I told you, I accept what happened to you. I validate your experience. It's your story. It's your experience. I have no right to say it didn't happen or to dictate how it happened. No. I'm just saying that your parents were also victims. So they just repeated what was imprinted. And if you don't heal and you also blaming, you will do the same, even though you don't want to. That's how it happened to your parents. Maybe due to ignorance in the past, or they didn't have this exposure, they didn't have this knowledge. Because now we're just coming to this awareness of psychological and mental health. It's something that we are becoming more aware of. It wasn't something so rampant in just last 15, 20 years ago. Okay, so we need to see that if we are in a new dispensation now that is talking holistically about the human being. It wasn't so much like that in the past. So it's likely that your parents didn't have that chance like you have now. And so they didn't have the knowledge you have now. So they repeated what they might have resented their own parents for too. They repeated it rather unconsciously. So most of it wasn't intentional. And you need to let go and stop the blaming, so that you can leave that victimhood. So that you can move out from that stage of survival to a place of thriving, of healing, of growth. Okay? Because you are the one to take responsibility for your healing. No matter what happened to you as a child. You were a child, now you're an adult. The moment you're an adult, it means that you have the responsibility to help yourself heal. And you are able to. You have the power within you to heal yourself from every beliefs that are working against you, that are creating emotional suffering. You are able to. Millions of people have done it, and they are free, and you can do it too. I'm here to let you know that you can. I have been going through my healing journey. It's a forever journey. I'm still in that process, but I'm no longer where I started from. There's a lot that has happened, and I'm helping other people do it, and I know that you can do it. So forgive your parents. Forgive them for the comparisons that they did with you and your friends and the neighbors. Forgive them. That was how they were mostly compared. Forgive the wrong words they spoke to you. I'm sure they love you. I doubt that they did it intentionally. It was just an unconscious behavior from a place of unhealed parts of them. And you have to heal those unhealed parts of you too, so that you don't repeat this behavior in your own children, and then have your children heal from you too, as you're doing from your parents. You want to be the circle breaker. You want to change the dynamics of your family. You want to bring love and healing and wholeness. And you cannot do that when you continue to blame those that did it to you. It's time to forgive them. It's time to see that this is our collective human responsibility to help ourselves heal. It's time to understand where our parents are coming from. It's time to see that a lot of what they did was not intentional. Their heart for you is full of love. They might not be able to say it. They might not be able to express it in the best way. But that was the best they knew. Whatever they did was the best they knew. Everybody acts to the best of their knowledge. Okay? So I'm appealing to you to forgive your parents, to forgive your caregivers, your guardians, whatever words they said, whatever things they did that is affecting you now, that has impacted you negatively on how you see yourself. I am sorry that you had to go through this. It could have been your environment. Any way that this had happened, and it have affected you so badly, and now you are having to heal from all of those words, all of those behaviors that they meted out on you. I am sorry on their behalf, and I'm saying that it's time to let go. It's time to stop the victimhood. It's time to move out from that space and say, I am ready to heal. I want to heal. Do you want to make that decision now? I think you should. Some of you might have to call your parents, try to rebuild the ties, but if you don't want to, it's okay. Allow the process. Don't rush anything. If you're not in a good space to talk to them yet, it's okay. You might want to work on yourself. Allow that resentment to go. Allow the pain to go before you connect back with them. It's okay. I'm not rushing you on that. I'm just saying that you have the responsibility to heal yourself. Nobody else is coming to do it for you. You have to make the decision that it's enough and you want to heal. You don't want to be in that survival lifestyle anymore. You want to free yourself and you want to live a life that is full of happiness, authenticity, joy, peace. And you want to pass this on to your children. And you're making that decision now and saying, I am ready. Healing begins with awareness. With that awareness comes that decision that we make. And then we follow through by taking practical steps towards our healing journey. That's how we heal. It's not something that is magical. It's something that is practical. Okay? And something that we start in one day. The day you make a decision to heal, that's the day your healing has begun. If you decide today that you want to heal, you no longer want to blame, you are ready to heal, your healing has begun. Because your words are changing already. Your thoughts are changing already. Your beliefs are changing already. That's what we're healing from. I really hope that you take this seriously. and give yourself the permission to live the life that is true, that is real, that is love, that is healed.